A very important part of rigging ballyhoos for trolling offshore is to prep the baits properly. And you want to prep them all ahead of time before you're ready to rig them. So we take the frozen ballyhoos out of the package and place them in a bucket of salt water, never fresh. Let them thaw slow. And once the baits are thawed, we take an arrow shaft and use it as an eyeball tool and pop out all the eyeballs. You can put the whole dozen on at a time, and that helps in rigging and in the swimming. And once the eyes are removed, now we're going to break the backs of the ballyhoos. To break the backs of the ballyhoos, we kind of give them a massage, and you want to be careful not to rub your thumbs down the ballyhoo and take off all the scales. You're going to start behind the head and kind of in a rolling motion with your thumb and forefinger, going to give the bait a massage, and as you roll towards the back, you'll feel the vertebrae pop, and you'll see the meat raise up on the back, and that's when you're getting a good pop. And you have to judge the softness of your ballyhoo or the firmness and make sure that you don't tear the skin. And but if you work your way back, 2/3 of the way back, stop just before the tail, and that is a huge step in making the bait flexible, and therefore lets him swim when he's towed by the nose. You're also going to take your thumb and work it back from front to back, kind of milking the stomach cavity, doing two things, kind of removing the poop and also popping the air bladder bubbles up in the mid cavity. Once you have pooped and all that, then we break off the bill, leave about 3/4 of the bill intact, and that will be used for rigging. It can be trimmed according to how you're going to rig, and it also codes what's been done and what's not done. And a lot of times in the mouth of a ballyhoo is a parasite, and that parasite can be found kind of by a swollen of the throat latch area if it looks distended or it's sticking out of his mouth. And you take a hook and put it underneath, run it up underneath the parasite and turn it up to where the barb goes in the parasite and work it back out. Try to get that out because it's hard to sew up the ballyhoo's head and make it be streamlined with that parasite in place. Give him a rinse back in the salt water when they're all done, and this leaves your bait all prepped and flexible and loose, and eyeballs removed for rigging, and go ahead and do the whole dozen and they'll be ready to rig. With the ballyhoos prepped this way, and as long as the pressure is towed from the front of the bait, the body will follow, and when it's limber like that, it really brings back the lifelike action of the ballyhoo. And just before you throw the bait in the water, when you're actually fishing, they stiffen up a little bit from laying on ice, so you want to S-curve them again just before you put them in the water every time, and then they'll go right to swimming. They won't have a stiff limber up period.